Hello, and welcome to episode 458 in the command block tutorial series, version 1.21. We can use this in data packs as well. We're going to be checking a storage list for an entry. So we're sort of back to the basics and components of things. We're not going to be making a complete thing. We're just going to how to do one thing that you can then use. So the idea is we will add things to a storage list, and then we're going to check if that thing is in the storage list. So it's pretty simple, really. Let's do a clear command, and we'll have this, and it will clear storage. So we'll do data remove from storage, and let's call ID temp. That's what I'll call it, and we'll say my list. Okay, so that's going to clear my list from storage. Let's have a data get from storage ID temp my list. Okay. No elements matching my list. Well, we don't have one. We haven't made one. And in fact, we've even tried to clear it if we had made one. So let's add an item to the list. And we will add, well, let's not call it an item because it's not like a block of stone or a sword or something. Let's say add entry or add element. So we will data modify storage ID temp my list, and we will append. So we're not going to overwrite anything. We're going to add this to the end of the list. Append. We're going to add it to the end. Append a value, and let's just put a 1 in there. That'll do. Let's put a 1. Okay. Done. And let's actually say add entry 1. Okay, now let's do our data get again. Data get. We've got a 1. Okay, so let's find out if the 1 is in the list. Well, actually, first, let's find out if the list even exists. So let's do that. Does list exist? Okay, so let's do execute if the data storage ID temp my list my list run say list exists. Done. List exists. Well, it does because we've got a 1 in there. But what if we clear the list? The list doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so we could do a different check there. What we could do is we could copy that block, pop it down here. What should we call this one? Does list not exist? There we go. Let's call it that. And we'll just change this to, from an if, at the beginning there, execute if. We'll say execute unless. And we'll say list doesn't exist. Okay. Done. Let's click on that one. List doesn't exist. Well, we can check with our data get storage. No elements. Okay, let's add 1 to the list. Let's check. It does exist. So when we press this button, we should get nothing. And when we press this one, it does exist. Cool. Let's be a little bit more specific though. Let's see if we can find that 1 in our list. So I think we'll add another entry. Copy that. Let's put that down there. Let's put that on there. And we'll change this one. We'll add an entry. This one we'll say is 2. Let's append 2 to the list. Okay, now let's have a look at our list. We've got a 1 and a 2. Okay, let's check to see if the entry is in there. Check for entry. Okay, in fact, I'm going to go for the does it list exist. So I'm going to copy that command. Copy. I'm going to paste it in there. And so it's exactly the same at the moment. Execute if data storage ID temp my list run say list exists. Okay, we want to make a little bit of a change here. What we're going to do is I'm going to surround my list with some curly brackets. And then I'm going to put colon. And in here is what I'm looking for. I am looking for, let's say we're looking for 2. And let's change this to entry exists. Okay, let's run that. Entry exists. Okay, let's clear our data. Does list exist? Nothing happens because there is no list. Does list not exist? List doesn't exist. So surely this is not going to work. Yeah, that doesn't work. Let's add 1 to our list. Let's check our list. We have 1. So does list exist? Yes, it does. And we are checking for 2 there. Does 2 exist? No response. Okay. Let's add 2 to our list. So now our list consists of 1 and 2. Does the list exist? Yes, it does. Does 2 exist? Yes, it does. And we can do the same thing for this, like we did here. We can check for the entry. And if we change this from an if to an unless, we can say entry doesn't exist. And we'll stay, look, double space, let's get rid of that. And we'll stay searching for 2. We'll say no entry. That'll do. You can't go in, it's no entry. Let's run this one. Okay, we've got no response. Let's look at our list. 1 and 2 are in the list. Okay, let's clear our list. Let's only add 1. Let's check our list. Okay, so 1 is in there. So if we check for 2, we get no response. But if we check to see if 2 is not in the list, entry doesn't exist. Okay, there we go. That's going to be it. Basically, we are creating our list, and then we're checking the list to see if the entry's in it. What could you use this for? I don't know. Maybe the player can visit different locations, and as they go to a different location, you add the location to the list. And then later on, if you want to see if they've been to a location, you can just check if that entry is in the list. Okay, one thing I think probably keep in mind, if we just do add 1, add 1, add 1. Let's have a look at our list now. We can see our list is full of 1s. Let's add a 2. We've got a 2 at the end. Let's add some more 1s. There we go. So what we're doing, because we're using append, we're getting the list that is currently there, and we're just putting that number or that entry onto the end of the list. So obviously if we checked for the entry 2, we will get a yes, because in our latest version we have 7 1s and a 2. So 2 is going to be in there. If we check for a 1, it's definitely going to pass, because it's going to find any one of those 1s and say, yeah, you've got a 1 in there. No problem at all. Okay, there we go. A little bit of waffling at the end as well. Have a great day. I'll see you soon, and take care. Bye-bye.